Have you ever been told to just surrender to God? Hey guys, it's John here on my back deck on a actually rainy day, but it's a break in the rain right now, and the sun's kind of peeking through a little tiny hole directly above me. Um, I wanted to hop on and talk about this. Someone put a comment on one of my videos asking about the concept of surrendering to God. And I wanted to come on and answer it because I think it's an interesting concept because your Christians will tell you forever to surrender to God, meaning be subjugated to the will of God, the way God's going to deal with it. Surrender to God. Let God handle your life, basically. And what I find really interesting about the concept of surrendering to God is not about the subjugation of an external God force, but more so, I I see it as allowing the universe, source, God, deliver what you're declaring, deliver what you're believing. In other words, letting go of the how. When you look at the concept of creation or manifestation, it's an interesting element because in my personal experience, I manifest very quickly when I especially don't try to figure out how it's going to happen. I don't say surrender to anything or anyone because I think the terminology itself is disempowering. It takes the power away from you and gives it to an external force. And I don't think that's what surrender to God really would mean in my world, because when I look at the perspective of this, I look at it from the perspective of I am one with God. I live a non-duality, right? I live as one. And being with one with God, that means I have to let go of, how some external force will bring something to me. I have to let go of the belief that a benevolent being is going to give it to me. To me, surrendering to God is literally just understanding that I am one with God, and I am not caring how things happen, because the surrender I have is the surrender of my own personal control. You know, People will try to control you through terminology like surrender, but in reality, it's the surrender in your life will be the surrender of the how things are going to happen, the control, the manifestation. My life has been so amazing because I stopped thinking about it from the aspect of how is this going to happen. I started thinking of it as I am declaring this, and it does happen. I surrender the how. So to me, the concept of surrendering to God is saying, okay, I have declared the source is going to supply. So I am just now handing that declaration over. I don't care how. I don't care what direction it's coming from. I don't care how it gets here. All I know is that I want it to be a joyful coming, because a lot of times you can ask to lose weight and have a horrible accident and lose a bunch of weight, right? So I am always constantly saying I am joyfully receiving, happily creating. I'm putting these positive sensations into my life, and because I'm getting all these really positive outcomes that come to me. And so surrendering to God is really surrendering your control. I mean, that the method of delivery is not necessary to know. It's just going to show up. And when I put the idea of this into practice, well, as I've said on many videos, I've been to 30 countries and only paid to go to France. You know, I declare things into my life and they happen. Usually I get the first inkling that it is in process within 2 hours. That's how fast I can manifest now. And that's because I really have surrendered the how, surrendered the belief that an external God was supplying, and believing that I am receiving. So when it comes down to surrendering to God, I would put it this way: surrender God. Let an external force God go away, and realize your oneness with God, and your oneness with the experience of God, and your oneness with creation, and let go of the how. Surrender God. Let you and God be one. Surrender the external God. the one that subjugates, the one that rules over, the one that tries to tell you how to live your life. And, live a joyful, loving life. And do that through your own choice, your own belief, your own thoughts, words, and actions. And understand that in that process of creation that way, it is just going to happen as you dictate, as you believe. It is going to happen if you believe it. Most people struggle with that part of the equation because they don't believe they're divine. They don't believe they can create. They look at the world and they see all of the struggles in the world and they say, but why would that happen? Well, you have no idea what they're believing or thinking when that happened. Why did this happen to me? Well, and a lot of times it's because you had a victim mentality or a belief in lack or who knows what the subconscious beliefs were at the time. What I'm talking about is getting very conscious about your creation, getting very clear about your oneness with God, knowing that you are the inspiration. God is simply the paint, the paintbrush, and the canvas. But what goes on that canvas with the paint and the paintbrush is determined by your inspiration. You are directly responsible for the image on the canvas, right? God is just the substance the image is made of. And that's the deal. Ask and you shall receive. When you pray, believe you shall receive and you shall. It comes down to this idea that you are creating at every moment of every day. And when you let go of the how and the control and you surrender God away and you come to this place, and I'm not saying surrender God in some big um, anti-Christian sort of thing. What I'm saying is understand your oneness with God and come to the space of realizing that when you surrender to God, you're not really surrendering to God, you're surrendering the struggle within yourself because you're one with God. So surrender to God means surrender to your divinity. Come to that place. Come to the place of realizing I am divine. Surrender all of your limitations, your beliefs of lack, your struggles from the past that made you feel like you're a victim. Surrender all those things. God is love. Surrender all those things and just live love. Surrender to God. Surrender those things and come to God. That's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.